I made $14,957.49 in 14 days in the stock market. And today, I'm going to share with you how I did it, what prompted me to do it, and why you should do the same. And towards the end, I'm going to share a little bit about lessons learned so that you don't make the same mistakes that I made. Welcome to Nova Rise, where we help immigrants and first-generation builders make smarter financial decisions and build real wealth in the US. Here, we break down real strategies and life experiences so you can apply them in today's market. Now, just to give you a little bit of background, the stock portfolio that I manage is actually my retirement portfolio. It is a combination of the money that I've received in my 401k from my prior jobs, plus whatever money I continue to contribute currently. And typically the way I check my portfolio is that I review it once a year to rebalance. And I usually do it in January. In January, I log in, I check, see what's working, what's not, and whatever doesn't work, I sell it, and then I just repurpose that money and use it to buy other stocks. But this year, things have been a little too volatile for various reasons. Quantum computing is coming, AI is replacing a lot of jobs, the war in Iran, it's creating havoc, and it's just making everything more expensive because oil gets more expensive, so that means transportation gets more expensive, and ultimately it affects everything we receive in our neighborhood and makes everything more expensive. So that triggered my curiosity, and I started doing a little bit more of research because I was concerned that whatever money I was setting aside for retirement might not be enough by the time I hit retirement. And my intuition was right. I actually found out that going forward, the S&P 500 may no longer give you the double-digit returns that we have been getting in the past 10 years. And that's quite scary because inflation is going to keep going up, and you want to make sure that by the time retirement hits, that the money can still get you stuff. And it's not just with the retirement money. If you happen to have a brokerage account and you have all of your money invested in the S&P 500, this is something that you should consider as well. Now, for those who are brand new, there are two ways to invest in the stock market. One is by buying individual stocks, and the other one is by buying ETFs. Exchange traded funds. What's the difference between the two? Well, if you happen to be a person who is really busy and doesn't have time to do research to figure out what stocks you want to buy, and you have a very low risk tolerance, then ETFs are usually the way to go. The way ETFs work is that there's a fund that is created, and then the money that goes into that fund is used to buy multiple different stocks. So that way you have a little bit of everything. That way, if one stock goes down in price, the idea is that hopefully the other ones in there will go up in price, and they will balance each other out, helping you reduce the losses in the long term. On the other hand, if you like to research, you like a certain company and you believe in that company and you have a high risk tolerance for the ups and downs and the volatilities in the market, then investing in individual stocks might be the way to go for you. Now, just to give you an idea how my stock portfolio was like up until 2025, it was made of 80% stocks and 20% ETFs. And that breakdown promised to give me a return of 15%. Now, if you're curious about what I was holding as part of my stocks, I had Meta, I had Google, I had Amazon, I have Visa, I have Intuit, which is the parent company of QuickBooks, and I also had Apple. On the ETF side, I had a combination of VOOG and VTI. But here's the funny thing. My return in 2025 was actually higher than 15%. Just to show you the numbers, this is what I had in January. $122,218.71. And this was my portfolio in December, $152,234.90. That means I made a total of $30,016.19. That's a return of 24.5%. Not bad, right? I was aiming for 15%, and now I'm getting 24.5%. And that same portfolio was the one that I will review once a year, every January, to see what stocks were working and which ones were not. The ones that were not working, I would just simply liquidate them and just use that funds to buy either newer stocks or just add more of the other stocks that I already had. But given what I share about this year and the volatility and the changes and the research about the S&P 500 not given the double-digit return like it used to, I decided to make a change. And in my research, I learned that now you should be checking your stocks in a more active way, meaning you should still check it once a year, but then every quarter, you should also take a look at it as well. So as soon as I learned that, I took action immediately on April 1st. Now, you're gonna see that the value of my account on April 1st, it's a little bit lower. It's sitting at $141,208.25. And that's because prior to that, I took out some money for a refinance on an investment property. But then after I realized that I didn't need it anymore, I put the money back using the 60-day rollover from my IRA. But because I took some money out, my portfolio doesn't grow the same. So when I put the money back, I actually had less money in my portfolio. But it didn't matter anyways because I ended up restructuring my portfolio. And just that restructure got me from $141,208.25 to $156,165.74. Those are the numbers as of April 14, the time of this episode recording. That means that in just 14 days, my portfolio made $14,957.49. That's a return of roughly about 11%. Now, I know 11% sounds less than 24.5 from 2025, but remember, we're talking about an 11% growth in just 14 days as opposed to 365 days. Now, what really changed? Well, in my research, I learned that there are 3 different buckets of stocks that you should have in your portfolio. You should have what they call core stocks, you should have trendy stocks, and you should have inflation stocks. What's the key difference between the 3? Well, core stocks are the ones that will stay with you forever, the ones that keep growing over and over again until you either retire or if you choose to liquidate those stocks. The trendy stocks are the stocks that you're going to keep for a shorter term. You buy them because you want to hop on the train, and those are the ones who are going to drive the growth of your portfolio. And inflation stocks are just there. They're just simply boring stocks to help you just protect your portfolio against inflation changes. Examples of core stocks will be Meta, will be Microsoft, Google, and Broadcom. And when it comes to trendy stocks, there's Nvidia, Sterling Infrastructure, and Mastech. What made these 3 trendy? They're heavily focused on AI. Nvidia is the semiconductor company, and the last 2 I mentioned are real estate companies that are heavily invested in the building of the infrastructure to house AI. And as an inflation stock, I just had Berkshire Hathaway. That's Warren Buffett's company. Now, before I continue, remember to smash the like button and to subscribe to our channel. With this restructure, my portfolio is now composed of 91% stocks and 9% ETFs. My old layout was 80% stocks and 20% ETFs. And as little as it might sound, increasing your position in individual stocks makes everything a lot more volatile, but you can also enjoy getting a bigger reward. And in case you want to know, here's a list of all the stocks that I own. But the changes don't end there. Remember I mentioned that you should review your stock every quarter? Well, here's the strategy going forward. So I already reviewed my stock position on April 1st, and the next revision will be on July 1st. If the trendy stocks increase by 30%, I'm going to liquidate that 30% and use those funds to buy more of my core stocks. So let's say, for example, I have $1,000 invested in Nvidia. And then by July 1st, my position in Nvidia goes up to $1,300. That means that I made a profit of $300. So I'm going to liquidate those $300 and take that money and invest it, let's say, in Google. So that way I'm monetizing on the profit, but at the same time, I'm reinvesting it in the core, the stocks that make my portfolio continue to grow long term. Why did I decide to do that? Well, here's the famous anecdote. I'm sure a lot of you have heard about Zoom, right? A lot of you have done conference calls, remote working, remote classes. So Zoom held a very special place in my heart. I actually bought Zoom way before the pandemic. I bought it at $70 per stock. That's how much I believe in the stock. And I did great with it. During the pandemic, the stock actually went up to $700 a share. And instead of liquidating at that time, I thought Zoom was a core stock, when in reality, it was a trendy stock. So when it was at 700, I thought that the price was going to continue to go up forever. So I actually bought more Zoom stocks. And then after the pandemic, I noticed that the price started to decline. 700, went to 6, then 5, and then eventually at 400. And that's when I decided to liquidate the stocks. Yes, I made some money on the stocks that I bought at $70, but I also lost money on the stocks that I bought at $700 and ended up liquidating at 400 and something. So in the end, I didn't take any profit. I actually ended up breaking even. In my case, I don't want another Zoom scenario to repeat with my current portfolio, which is why I am reviewing my portfolio on a quarterly basis and liquidating when it makes sense and repurposing that money into the core stocks. Now, if you decided to implement the changes I just shared, let me know how your portfolio is doing down in the comment section below. And for those who are brand new and want to learn how to invest in the stock market in the easiest way as possible, here's a video that you can check out. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.